Scopely's got a little more mess to clean up with these Nova rank rewards going out. We're going to talk about what happened and what we can expect as players. Also, what are the best teams to use in these current version of these incursion raids? We're going to talk about some of the best options and the rest of these mailbag questions in this special Tuesday edition of the Monday mailbag. And if you're ready for that Valley Club, then you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, we're talking all about Marvel Strike Force. We're talking about the Nova rank rewards that went out last night. As some people are like, I should have gotten a little bit more for all the pushing that I did in these Nova trials. But we're going to talk about the communications that they've had beforehand and what we can expect as far as what got screwed up with some of these bugs that went on with these Nova trials. And we're also talking about these incursion raids. What are some of the best teams to use in these incursion raids right now, especially if you and your alliance are struggling to get some of this gear 18 so that you guys can get into Dark Dimension 6 along with the rest of the mailbag questions from Monday. Hopefully you guys had a great Memorial Day, but if this is your first time here on the channel, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. Usually there's a lot more, but let's get right into it and talk about these Nova rank rewards. Now, I finished 5,141 in these Nova ranking rewards. I actually was a little sick, didn't have a lot of time to play it when these ranking leaderboards came out, and on the weekends I really don't feel like spending a lot of time, so I did one run at the end. We did this on right after the stream. There was like about an hour left in this, and it was like, all right, I'm just gonna do a run, all the packs on at difficulty 7, and this is what I got. So I was just hoping to do my best, but a lot of everybody that was outside of the top 5,000 may not have got what they expect. So if you look at my rank, like I said, it's 11 to 13%. I was expecting to do a little better than this. When I saw that my rank was 5,000, I was like, all right, well, maybe I could get this 1% or this 3% or this 6% or this 5, anything in this, even in this 10%. But no, I dropped all the way down here because I guess there was a limit on what you needed to score for this. And I guess the limit for this was 400,000. Not everybody was made aware of this. So people were trying to do this Scourge were not getting in these ranking rewards, were not under this limit, and everybody that should have been in the 1%, 3%, 5%, 7%, and the top 10% did not get any of these rewards. So it doesn't look like any of these rewards were handed out because there was probably less than 5,000 people or less than 50,000 people or around 50,000 people that participated in this event. Now, if you look at the initial communication that we got initially from Scopely, did this sort of hint that there was a minimum at this, but there was no clear expectation that there was a minimum. So what they say about the rank rewards, the rank rewards are required to unlock Nova remains unchanged at 450,000 points. So this is what they said initially. This did eventually change over time because, as you know, this event was bugged, but they lowered some of these limits, thinking that they did some play testing here and we would actually get a event that was designed properly or that was designed to work as intended. But as we know, this Nova did not work as intended. So this is their initial communication. Then when the version went out that was bugged, that had some packs that were bugged, that were just making the game unplayable, we got this new limit. The version that would be going into the game right now, or that we had the leaderboards this past few days, is going to have these packs disabled. The bio armor, evasive maneuvers, biocharge, snake eyes pack will be changed to match the in-game description. And then when we got this update here that there would be milestones in the leaderboard, because initially they said that there wouldn't be milestones. They said that this run, these will start at 400,000 points. That's where you could get some orb fragments for this countdown orb. They didn't say that there was a minimum on any of these, except in one instance here when the Nova trials initially went live. There was this message that says reach 100,000 points to earn rank rewards. This apparently was removed after a few hours because it was supposed to be 400,000 is what we're told, but this went out and people were expecting 100,000 points, which is very, very different to receive these rank rewards. Apparently that is not what happened here. So if you're inside the top 5,000, you got your correct rewards. If you're outside the top 5,000, then that is where the rewards got a little screwy. We'll wait to see what the devs will do regarding this, because they did say that in future iterations of events that do have minimums to reach the leaderboard, that would be communicated explicitly. That was not done here. The only thing that was explicitly communicated was at 100,000, which was removed about an hour or so after that went live. The initial Nova pack went live. So that is what the situation is right now. We'll see how the devs respond. Hopefully they respond a little better than they did to that ISO 8.5 thing, or at least, I don't know. Hopefully they respond well to this and we can get some more stuff for this, but hopefully you did well in the Nova pack. Let's go to the rest of the questions, talk about these incursion raids though, but that is the current status of what's going on with Nova right now. So if you're outside of the top 5,000, that is where I guess you should have been, but let's see what happens with the communication, because it could have been communicated a lot different. All right, so this is my current plans for the incursion raid stats, and we have all the best teams here. We have a Death Seed team here without Psylocke, with Apocalypse in that slot instead. For my stuff, I've been doing the incursion raids difficulty 2. I've been using Psylocke full sim or either full auto, been working fine. So I guess this is, you could either use Psylocke in this if you have her built up, or you could use Apocalypse if you don't have her built up. Either would work, but Death Seed is a great solution to mutant section. This Rebirth team, excellent solution to the bio section here. I don't think there's any diverging thoughts there. So same thing with these invaders. So this is a solution for mutant, bio, and skill. Next we have Mystic. We're gonna get a little more into detail, but I do like using both the Eternals here. I do like using Death Pool here. Morgan Le Fay is great, and for that 5th, I guess we have some difference depending what your roster is. Dormammu did lose some value because you can't use those revive onces, but he still does have a kit, so he is an option at that. And then the Bionic Avengers, they're very tough in the tech section right now, although I find that first node a lot tougher with the Bionic Avengers than that second or the boss node. When I tried this on the test server, I actually found the boss node using the Bionic Avengers the easiest. I was trying a bunch of different combinations on that first node, a bunch of different combinations on that second node. Eventually I just went in and used the Bionic Avengers on that boss node. I was like, this is so easy. They didn't even take a turn. So I think the second node and the boss node for tech section is going to be easier than that first section. Now, if you can go in with a sacrifice team, bring in some of the other teams on that first node of tech and use up some of their cooldowns. I've two-shotted that pretty easily with the Bionic Avengers, but one-shotting it, not working very well. And this is pretty common, taking Iron Man out, putting Kang in that spot. I know with the old Doom raids, it was probably a little better to use Iron Man in that first node, but the second, third, using Kang worked a little better. I'm not sure too much which works better here. I've tried a few different combinations on the test server, but not this initial one from the Doom raids. But Bionic Avengers are okay. You just watch out for that first node as far as my experience. But we're actually trying to run 30% on this now. If we look at the rewards, it's actually pretty good to get to some of these first-time rewards. So if you're doing a normal difficulty to get to the next threshold and to get or just to get to the next threshold, 60%. If you want the first time completion, it goes up by 10% after that till you get to difficulty 4. Then you need to start 100%ing these to get to the first time rewards and to unlock the next difficulty. So I think the sweet spot for some of these alliances, when you look at these rewards, are going to be right around difficulty 1 or 2. To get to difficulty 2, you would need to 70% difficulty 1. And if you want to try to get to difficulty 3, you would need to 80% on difficulty 2. And if we cross-reference this with the amount of gear 18 orbs that you get from doing each of these difficulties, if you look, I think the sweet spot that we're going to shoot for is trying to get to doing difficulty 3 every single day at 30%. That gives a full orb. If we do manage to get to 60%, that'll give a little more than 1 orb. But for that to reach this difficulty 3 at 30% every single day, you need to be able to do 80% of difficulty 2. And if you want to do difficulty 2, getting a little under half or a little over half of an orb per day, you could do that by reaching 70% on difficulty 1. So hopefully looking at these, the amount of orbs that you get and the amount of percent that you need to reach, hopefully that helps your lens decide which is the best incursion raid for you. When are these hard ISO 8 campaign nodes supposed to be coming up or opened up? They've been in game for a while. They're still unavailable. I know this dropped when this latest update dropped in the game, and I'm wondering, they should be here soon. They should be here in this update. So obviously we got a couple more characters that haven't been released in this update in Thor for an Infinity War, Annihilation version of Star-Lord. So we still have a few more characters in this update, but it should be sometime in this update. I was thinking the update was ending soon because we had the Firestar month-long event ending soon and then the new one for Korok starting, but we still have 2 more characters. So sometime in this update is when I'm guessing it should be live. Hopefully sooner than later because I'm running out of stuff to use my ISO 8 energy on, brother. Hey, Valley, hope you and your family are doing well. As a new Incursion raid has started, I hope you're doing it like me. And I have 2 questions regarding the new raid. We know Scopely has never been generous when it comes to giving out new gear, as raid rewards the same follows the gear 18 fragments in the new raid. So this was ever discussed in the Envoy channel. Did Scopely ever respond to it? If so, what was the Scopely response other than working as intended? It was actually worse. It was actually worse on the test server. This was brought up and the rewards got a little better from the version that we saw on the test server. So they did improve the raid rewards a little bit. They didn't really answer any of the questions that we had about it. They just kind of did that in game. So it was a little, I was happy that this happened, but I was also shocked that this happened as well. But yeah, they got a little better. So hopefully they continue to improve. Scopely has always said that they try to be very stingy in the beginning with a lot of stuff, with some of the kits, with some of the rewards that they hand out. That way, if they need to open it up, they can, because it's not a very good look if it's too generous and they have to dial it back. So they've always said that is kind of their intention. So give them feedback, guys. They're looking for feedback for the players. They want to see how a lot of this stuff lands as it feels. And they also have said that they're intentionally very stingy in the beginning with a lot of stuff. So yeah, hopefully they open stuff up even more, because what we just described as far as potentially earning 1 orb per day if you get all the way to difficulty 3, it's tough. It's tough, especially if you're trying to get into these new raids here. The requirements to unlock for the next difficulty in these Incursion raids seem to be made with some kind of calculations in mind, aka the tech lane issue. So did Scopely ever mention this in the Envoy channel, that they were planning to sell us, meant to say introduce a new tech raid team, because 100% difficulty 3 or 4 to this new raid team to move on to the difficulty with the current bionic Avengers or tech tunes is impossible for someone like me who's free to play with a roster size of 2.8 million. So what I always thought is you're trying, like for me, when on our alliance, we're trying to get to this next difficulty. So if you look at 100% of like difficulty 2, you're getting 2,000 orbs, which is a full fragment. But if you get to 30% of the next difficulty, that is the same amount of the teal gear that you could orb. Same thing for difficulty 1, 100%, and difficulty 2 of 30%. So I think the idea is to push us to get to the highest rate possible and probably just have that at 30%. This, which is why I think the Detsy team, and then we have the bio, and then skilled are the first 3 sections. So we can start doing this and maybe pushing for 1 run a week, or pushing for 1 run with your entire alliance, getting to that 100% or whatever threshold you need to get to the next difficulty, and then they're just doing 30%. And I think that is what their intent was. Obviously, they're not gonna tell us their exact intent if that was the intent, but this looks to be what the intent was. Try to reach as high difficulty as you can, at least unlocking the next threshold, getting those first-time rewards, and then just sitting at 30% for the next raid. And I think that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're pushing for in my alliance, and it's made it a lot easier, I think. So hopefully that makes it easier for you guys. Just push hard once and then 30% until you guys figure out the teams. And I don't think that's that bad if you guys are really choose one day to push. Hey, bud, Fist Bump from Atlanta. I think we were stomping out here years ago, but I may have been mistaken. Not around the Atlanta area, but around the Savannah area. So still in the same state, brother. I was there for a little bit before we moved to Texas. Okay, with the new Incursion rates, I know there will be a lot of trouble. We are currently at 1.1 in skill and bio full auto, no problems. Mystic, however, is where my question and concern comes in. Yeah, Mystic and Tech are the two hard ones right now. We have no team announced as far as I'm aware. There are some that have been speculated, but I don't think anything's been announced or had any official rumors or anything like that. I'll post my Mystic. Would you mind giving me a few pointers from what your perspective is, who is great and why? Deathpool, Scarlet Witch, and Dorm and MILF have been doing the heavy lifting so far. Doom has been helpful, but is dying rather quickly as he's one of my absolute favorites, and he's had a hell of a run. Thanks in advance. Stay safe, brother. Thanks for all the positivity and sea salt. The 7 morb came from an orb. I don't want you to think I'm in foolish waste gold promos on him, right? So yeah, whatever you get in an orb is awesome. Whatever you use your promos on, you want to be very selective with it. So Doom is not working as well. So I think in certain situations, especially if there's just one node that you're trying to do, or there's like a wave that you've simmed and like know, you just have to clean them one wave. Doom does work pretty good, but let's take a look at some of these options here. Let's scroll all the way to the top of your roster. Looking at Morbius, probably not great in these raids as well. Cloak and Dagger lost a little bit from their rules, but they still are okay, maybe as backups. I wouldn't build them as primary raid teams, raid characters, but if you're already building them for Cosmic Crucible and then new Warriors team, they should be okay. Deathpool, I think, is great in the raids. Quicksilver, if you have him, can be okay. He does take a lot of turns. I haven't built mines to test him first and the raids, so that may be the wrong path to take. But Quicksilver, on paper, at least like he's going to be pretty good in the raids. Morgan Le Fay is a great character. Tangled Web, Spider Weaver. Again, she's kind of like Doom. I'm using her in one node or a couple nodes, not using it for a primary raid team. But if there's like one node that I feel my primary characters died and I got Weaver there, I'll bring Weaver in. Don't use Heartless and Wong too much, although if some of these characters die and I just have Morgan Le Fay to bring back, I may run a full Darkhold team. Doom, we already talked about him. He's great for a few different things. Deathpool is still a great raid character, especially if you're getting a lot of kills. You could get a lot of extra damage. Icarus and Cersei, a little underbuilt from where I would want, but they are still very good, especially if you time that Icarus ult and he could get that double hit. Scarlet Witch is a great backup character because of the healing that she provides. Thor, I wouldn't use. Agatha, unless you're going full Darkhold, I wouldn't use either. Adam Warlock was one of the better raid characters, but we've had a lot since then that have come out that are a little better. Dormammu, like I said, lost that value. Not getting those revived onces from him anymore, but he still has a strong kit with that stun, with that awesome ultimate that he has. Turning the tides of battle works very, very well. Cloak, again, lost some value with Dagger, but still usable, especially if you're ready building them up for those new warriors. And the last character that I might bring in, actually, there's a few other characters. Silver Surfer is still a decent raid character. And let's not forget Hela, because Hela with Greg still can do some damage. So those are the only ones that I would probably build up specifically for the raids. I don't think there's going to be one team that's going to handle all the nodes of the raids, unless you're really severely overpowering it. Maybe by the time the level 100 level cap comes out, we could just smash all these nodes. But I don't think there's going to be one team. I think it's going to be a hybrid of team. I think it's going to be a few different teams that you're going to take in, and it's going to be a combination. But my combination usually ends up involving Icarus, Cersei, Deathpool, Morgan Le Fay, and rotating that fifth. And if Morgan Le Fay seems to die, Spider Weaver ends up being a very good replacement for her, but trying to just use a bunch of characters rather than one solid team. And that's what's been working a little better for me. Let me know if that strategy works for you and helps you out. I have a couple of questions. Have you had any level 95 tunes yet or not? And what is the reason you haven't leveled up anybody with level 95? Is it gold, training mats, or something else? It's gold. It's mainly gold. I think I have a few that I've taken up to level 95. Not a lot of them. Spider Weaver, I took her up very early on because she still had some value. I think even by the time I brought her up, she had fallen out of the arena meta, but I wanted to make sure that she was strong because I knew everybody had a 7-star Weaver that's been playing for a while. Morgan Le Fay I brought up because she's an arena character. Same with Red Hulk. Rogue is an arena character, but I have not brought her up yet. Kang is an arena character. I have not brought him up yet, and those are the only characters that I brought up so far. Kang, Morgan Le Fay, Spider Weaver, and Red Hulk. I do want to build up Apocalypse. I do want to build up Rogue because I use them in Arena all the time, but most of the rest of the characters, not brought them up yet. I think my next target is either going to be Death Seed to help not just in the raids, but also in War, countering that Rebirth in Room 6. I mean, not War, in Cosmic Crucible, countering Rebirth in Room 6, helping to build them up, makes that a little more guaranteed of a matchup. Also want to build the new Warriors. I think we're pretty good as far as what we're doing as far as the raids. Still going to struggle a little bit in the Mystic and the tech section, but as far as the main three initial nodes, I think we're pretty good there. So I'm focusing right now on Cosmic Crucible. That's where my resources are going to go. Let me know where you're going to put your resources right now. What characters do you have built up to level 95? Hopefully we have some good news regarding these Nova trials, but if we don't, oh well, I guess we're just going to have to go harder next time and spend some dark promo credits to get that red star for him. But hopefully you did well with Nova, guys. That is it. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this helps you. If it did help you, leave it a like. It does help that YouTube algorithm. Share this with your friends, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Enjoy playing Marvel Strike Force. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out. I'll see you guys next time.